Welcome back to Podpackers, the podcast by Worldpackers, where we dive into the real stories behind travelers who are rewriting what it means to live freely, connect deeply, and explore with purpose. Today's guest is Boro, a 22-year-old life artist from Hungary. After realizing that the traditional path didn't feel like hers, she left it all behind and moved to France. That decision completely changed how she sees herself, the world, and what it means to live with intention. From working in factories to volunteering in Turkey, she's found freedom in simplicity, connection in community, and peace in living life on her own terms. Let's unpack her journey together. So first of all, Boro, thank you so much for being with us today. You describe yourself as a life artist. I love that. What does that phrase mean to you, and how does it show up in your everyday life?
Well, it's a phrase we use in Hungary, and it means the people who don't conform to the traditional life path and they still live an exciting and full and happy life. And I've always wanted to be a life artist because that's just so cool, and I am one now. And in my everyday life, it's just that I'm really happy and thankful that I don't have to go to class and I don't have to work every day, and I just get to choose my own adventures and my own hardships, and I'm just really proud of that.
That's awesome. So you mentioned that you don't have like kind of a 9 to 5 work schedule like everyone else. So is that very common in Hungary where you come from? I mean, like, is there kind of an intellectual academic background there, or do a lot of people, is life artist like a very popular thing? Is it kind of seen as a career in Hungary? And like, when did you realize that you didn't really want to pursue the traditional university work path?
Yeah, well, Hungary is definitely not. So we are traditional, so it's not common in Hungary to be a life artist. It's common to go to university, and my family and friends all went to university. So I'm the only one who hasn't, and that was a really difficult change. I think it was around. I think I was in 11th grade when my private singing tutor told me that I could actually pursue a career in singing. And so I decided that I would go to university to study vocal performance. And that meant that I had to take a gap year because I didn't start the application process soon enough. And I didn't want to start studying psychology because I didn't like Hungary. So I wanted to get away. And that's how I never ended up going to uni. Later, I didn't get accepted to university, which bummed me out so much. It was really terrible, but that's okay. Yeah, my family, well, my parents took it quite hard at first. They were really anxious because they are scared of the unknown mostly. And they were really afraid that I would go hungry or I would just, I don't know, die in the streets. I don't know what they imagined, but their parents. So I moved to France at 18 years old without any French knowledge. So obviously they were they were scared. And that's it.
Wow. So you said that you were originally going to take a gap year to do singing preparation, right? And then apply for university. Was it kind of during your gap year that you realized you weren't actually interested in studying psychology? Or was it more after the decision came from university that you were like, okay, this isn't working out, let me try something else?
It was during high school that because I thought that I would go to university right after school, and then my singing tutor said that I could pursue a career in singing, and then I said, okay, I'm just gonna apply to the university to study psychology because it's in Hungary, it's free, and it's whatever. And then I'll just have the option to go. But I knew that I wouldn't go because I wasn't really interested. So, it wasn't calling my name. And I didn't feel like doing something that wasn't like, oh, do this.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So moving to France at 18 is a really big step. Can you walk me through first, I guess, how did you choose France? And then also, what did that moment feel like saying goodbye, going on the plane, realizing you were actually doing it? I mean, had you been to France before? Had you traveled around a lot of Europe? Have you gone solo before?
I had been to France before, but the reason we chose, I didn't move alone. I moved with my boyfriend and his sister, and we chose France because there was a company that was, I don't know what they're called, but they help you find jobs and they also paid for our accommodation. I think they're a sketchy company, so I wouldn't recommend them, but we use them. and and so we were just like, we were trying to apply, and they said, okay, we'll let you know as soon as something comes up. And then one Friday they called, okay, you have a job in Brittany, which is 2,200 kilometers away from where I lived. And we moved by car, so we had to start the next Monday. We had 3 days to pack,
Oh,
go,
wow.
and start working. So it was really a hectic day. I was really bummed out because my father wasn't home. He was working, so I couldn't say goodbye to him. Um, yeah, but I invited my best friend. She's my cousin over. So my mom and my cousin and my aunt and uncle were there. So we were chatting. We were all looking up information about living in France and whatever. And it was really exciting. And then the evening that we set off, my mom almost cried, or maybe she even started crying, and that was really painful because my mom rarely cries. So that was a that was a bummer. And then I also realized on the road already that I didn't say goodbye to my cat. So I almost started crying. I called my mom, and we were like reminiscing over our times, our happy times, and but it was, it was really cool that I was on the road, and I knew that I would go somewhere to a country that I really love. I know it's pretty, and I know that this is going to be such a fun challenge. So it was really happy but sad, like a
Yeah, I think
movie.
that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you have things to look forward to, but also things that you're leaving behind, right?
Yeah.
And so when you were in France, you did a lot of jobs that were very different from what society might call successful. Can you walk me through what some of those jobs were, and how did it change your view of what success really means?
Yeah, well, I started in France. I started as a factory worker. I was checking, examining prepackaged sandwiches. Like, do they have the stickers on them? Are their packagings damaged, or like, is the sandwich like all messed up? And that was my job, and I had to put them in boxes, and the boxes went on pallets, and that was a really tedious job. But I made friends basically, and I also learned French because they don't speak English, and I had to have fun somehow. So we were like trying to chat. So over the 10 months I spent there, I learned French from the base. So I had
Wow.
no prior knowledge. So I think that's really cool. And then afterwards I started working as a waitress in Austria because we have seasonal work there. And yes, these types of jobs are definitely not expected of someone coming from an academic background, for example. And it was really, well, I had to battle my own prejudice towards myself, or I don't even know what was wrong, but I expected more of myself, but I didn't really, because I enjoyed these jobs. And I think what really matters is what you do with the money you get from the job. So it's not the job that makes the person, it's what they do after the job. And I wanted to save up to travel, and I wanted to improve my German skills in Austria, and stuff like that. And I can't really judge a person for working a job that is not ideal for me, because I don't know what their motivation is. So it might be really noble.
Hmm. I think that's really awesome, very insightful. And so, what is something that maybe you surprised you about yourself when you were living abroad, as you were noticing all these changes?
Well, I was able to cook for myself and come up with meals. That's such a struggle to come up with meals to make yourself, and I was able to do it. Okay, sometimes it was really low effort, but most of the time I cooked for myself. There was, I think, 3 or 2 weeks that I was vegan in the time when we actually moved abroad. I was trying this vegan lifestyle because I have tummy issues, so I tried going vegan. And then I
Mm.
had to make myself food because in the sandwich factory there wasn't any vegan options, and by the way, they were also terrible. So like, no, I didn't eat the sandwiches even after I stopped being vegan. So I'm really proud of that. And I also, like, I was able to wash my own laundry. I knew already how to wash the laundry, but I just had to, like be able to think, okay, today is laundry day. Okay, I have to have clothes because otherwise I'll just go naked, and that doesn't fly. So I don't know. That was surprising to me.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I live in university, so I don't really know how to cook either. But these are like things that people don't really think about until they're living alone.
Yeah.
So now I kind of want to transition a little bit into the Worldpackers chapter. So you mentioned that you first found Worldpackers through Instagram and you immediately felt connected. What made you think this is my next step?
Well, I looked at the Worldpackers Instagram page, and there were people um, living their best lives. Like they were so fun, such fun videos, and so energetic and so happy, and I don't know, it made me feel. No, it made the whole concept real, because it wasn't any faceless marketing strategies like, this is Worldpackers, this is blah, blah, blah. It was actual people sharing their stories and sharing their highs, sharing their lows, and it just made it feel possible. And I really wanted to do that, so that was it, reality.
Yeah. And let's talk about Turkey. So that experience sounds really transformational. First of all, what did you do there? How long did you stay? And what did you realize in Turkey that kind of shifted something deep in you for the long term?
Oh, it was the first morning. The first morning I woke up in a wooden cabin, in a beautiful tiny wooden cabin in the middle of a giant lush green land, and we were surrounded by a forest. And there were trees and blooming flowers that the hosts planted with their own hands, and it was just incredibly peaceful and serene and quiet, and I realized that this was also a life that I could live, and I thought that was the true meaning of life, like being present in nature, taking care of her nature, and taking care of yourself by being in nature and just fending for yourself. And it's I that was a big giant slap in the face, but in the best way possible.
Mm. And so your host traded corporate life to grow their own food in the forest. And did living in that environment kind of change what you wanted for your own future? Like, do you see yourself living in a natural environment or doing something agricultural? How does that affect your future?
I actually think I want to live the way that they do.
Mm.
And they also offered us, my fiance and I, a spot on the land that we can go to, so we can live there with them.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
no way.
yeah,
That's so kind and generous.
isn't it? Yeah, I know. I love it so much. So yes, I definitely want to have a giant land. I also want to have animals, but that's just for my, so like friends, not food,
Yeah.
friend animals. And yes, I definitely want to grow my own vegetables and fruits, and anything that I can. I want to grow sustainably. So I think it's a beautiful lifestyle. It's hard, but it's so worth it.
Mm. And so were there other Worldpackers volunteers while you were there in Turkey, or was it just you and your fiance?
Oh, there was one girl, Sarah. She was from England, and she'd been spending 2 months or something like that. She originally went for like 2 weeks, but she couldn't. She just couldn't leave, so she stayed for a couple months, and she was really kind. She showed us around, and she helped us. Get settled in, and then at the end of our stay, a couple came, and they were also really fun. They were studying or learning to become shamans, which was also
Oh,
really exotic,
wow.
and it was amazing. So we met incredible people, not just our hosts, who are the most incredible of all, but these three people. Wow, so love that.
And so how did being surrounded by new people and, new cultures, people from different places, how did that help you understand yourself better?
Oh, well, they all had their own perspectives, and they had different perspectives than me. And so I listened to them, and I observed myself from those perspectives. And I slowly started seeing myself as, for who I was, or for who I masked myself as, actually, and then I started taking the mask apart. So now
What do you
I'm
mean by
talking to
mask? Like,
myself.
what do you think you were hiding before, and I guess, what's the masked you versus the real you?
The mask me, so the mask didn't actually come from me. It came from my childhood. I'm the youngest of four, so I had people before me, and I had like ideal pictures, like what does a person look like and stuff like that. And so that's the mask that I was carrying. That I was completely different my whole life. But I tried to somehow fit into this box that my parents were trying to fit me into, or I don't even know what happened, but I definitely wasn't myself. And then I realized that, oh my god, I am a person. I am Boró, and I have my own personality traits, and I have my own dreams and goals and everything, and that's okay. So that's who I am now. The child, actually. I'm trying to go back to my childhood self with
That's
a
really
pinch of salt.
interesting. And so I mean, I guess you were traveling with your fiance, but a lot of travelers talk about feeling loneliness on the road. Did you ever experience with that, and how did you learn to deal with it?
Yeah, I just go somewhere that I know I would enjoy. So in London, I was alone in London, and I've been there 3 times already, and the third time I was alone. And when I was like rotting in bed, or I didn't really feel okay. I don't know what happened, but I was maybe exhausted. I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna go and sit on the bank of the Thames and look at the Parliament, because that's just such a beautiful building, and there's also a Harry Potter reference there. I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter, but
Yes, I
in the
love
fifth
Harry Potter.
film, yeah, in the fifth film they fly on the brooms in front of the Parliament. So I've loved the Parliament ever since, and so I was just looking at it, and I was listening to Big Ben clinging. I don't know what the word is for the bell. Anyway,
The bells
and I'm just,
ringing, I don't know.
yeah, I guess. Anyway, I was listening to that, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so cool for being alone here. Like
Mm,
I'm incredible. So that's what helps, I think, going somewhere that you love.
that makes a lot of sense. And so, have you gone back home since you started traveling? And like, what does home mean to you today? Has it changed at all? Would you go back long term?
I, man, this is such a difficult question. I'm actually home in
Oh,
Hungary, because I want to launch my content creation business properly, and I have to be somewhere safe to do that, or like somewhere secure. And I'm trying to make the most out of it. I'm going to move to Budapest, the capital, because that's like buzzing and there's life here. So I'm gonna do that, and it definitely, my sense of home definitely changed since I started traveling. I don't know how I didn't see this before, or like there were really a lot of layers of my personality that I had to uncover to come to this truth. Home is where my fiance and I can be ourselves together without boundaries, anywhere in the world. If it's in a beach, or if it's in our staying in our car in the middle of nowhere, or if it's home at my parents' house, where when they are out and it's just us two, that is when we are home. That is when I'm home, because he's incredible and I'm incredible. So we're just double incredible together.
wow. That's awesome. And
Yeah, it is.
so you said that you want to launch your content creation business. I guess I'm just wondering, out of personal curiosity, what's next for you? Like, where do you see the next kind of, not even 5, but maybe like 1 or 2 years going? I mean, like, are you still going to do Worldpackers volunteering? You're going to travel around, like, stay at home? What's the vibe?
I'm definitely gonna travel with Worldpackers. I'm gonna volunteer as much as I can, because I'm really in love with this company. um, and yeah, my plan is to like in half a year, like make my business stand on its own, and have inbounds, as well as um, have successful pitches, and then just become a digital nomad, and just start traveling whenever and wherever with Worldpackers, or sometimes without, because it can be exhausting to always work. So
For sure.
sometimes
Yeah.
you have to have a holiday off your holiday.
Exactly. A break from your vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but I will be traveling as much as I can, and trying to sing as much as I can and write songs, and that's my 1 year, 2 year plan, and basically my 10 year plan probably.
Wow, amazing. I'd love to hear your music. So I don't know if you post that on your page, but we'll definitely have to talk about that later. Um,
Yes.
and so my final question is just for someone who's listening right now who really wants to travel, but they feel scared or not ready, or maybe pressure from their family or friends, what truth would you want them to hear from you?
Well, actually, I wrote a thought down because I think I got it really well. Nothing will ever become easier. Life will throw new challenges at us after we battle the first one. So there's no point in waiting for the right time. I'm sure you all know that feeling when you think you can't stand to be in the same place anymore, and you feel like you could just run away right now. And that is the momentum you want to use, because you
Mm,
should book that trip or apply to a job or whatever you need, but do that in that exact moment and write it down on paper. This is what I want to do, this is right for me. Because that's when your that's when your mask comes off, when you
mm.
you feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna go right now. That's it. Use that momentum, I think.
Yeah, I bet there's some people listening right now who feel that exact way. They're like, I have to go somewhere, write it down.
Yeah.
um, I interviewed someone last week, and we were talking about how writing something down on a piece of paper just makes it feel so much more real.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, yes. So do that. Write it down always.
Yes. Well, all right, everyone. You heard it from Boro. Write down your dreams. And if you feel the urge, you should just do it now. And that's the perfect time. But thank you so much for talking with us. That was such a soul nourishing conversation. Thank you for sharing your journey with so much honesty and depth, and for reminding us that sometimes choosing yourself is the most radical act of courage, I think. And so, if Boro's story inspired you, make sure to follow Podpackers wherever you listen to podcasts, and follow Worldpackers on social media for more stories like Boro's. If you're ready to start your own journey, whether volunteering abroad or joining a group trip, then head over to worldpackers.com and create a life that feels like yours. I'll see you in the next episode.